In the tapestry of life, where every thread holds a story, America in black and white emerges as a haven for the voices echoing through the heart of our communities. In this podcast, we wade through the rivers of our collective experiences, celebrating the vibrant hues of change brought forth by the whispers of hope and the roars of action. It's more than just a conversation. It's a journey into the heart of our society, illuminated by the light of those daring to dream and do. Join us, and let your voice be the melody that guides us toward a dawn where every color finds its place in the masterpiece of our shared destiny. Together, let's paint a future brimming with the positives that dwell in our minds and the actions that shape our world.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of America in Black and White, where we are coloring conversations on the canvas of America. Tonight, our special guest is Brandon Marcus Flanders. Brandon is the founder and CEO of BMF Global LLC, BMFG, a multifaceted entertainment company that provides services in music, film, the arts, and technology. He is also a founding partner of SAKAL, a global streaming platform, as well as a co-owner of NARB Technologies. In addition, he also serves on the board of the Queens Underground Film Festival in Queens, New York. He also is working on other business ventures as developer and project manager that will be realized in 2026, as well as a 168 unit affordable housing tower and international marketplace scheduled to open in early 2028. Prior to relocating to Newark, New Jersey, Brandon resided in Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas Metroplex until 2006, before accepting a position as the Minister of Worship and Arts at the Fountain Baptist Church, where he served for 19 years. Brandon's accumulation of talent spans over 35 years, serving as a songwriter, producer, singer, musician, and project management. Brandon has used his musical talents to perform in many venues and locations throughout the nation, including NJPAC, the New Brunswick Theological Seminary, New Orleans, Philadelphia, North Carolina, and Maryland, California, Georgia, Ohio, Florida, New Orleans, New York, New Jersey, Texas, London, Italy, and Mexico. He also serves as an active member of the GMWA, the National Convention of Gospel Choirs and Choruses, and the Hampton University Ministers Conference. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to bring to the show Mr. Brandon Flanders. Hello, superstar.
Hey, how are you? Good afternoon, good evening.
Yes, sir. How's everything with you today?
All is well, all is well. It's been a blessed day.
Well, before we get into the show, is there anything you'd like to add to your bio?
No, that's pretty much it. I'm just a servant. Just a servant.
Look, no, I think you're more than just a servant. Look, you got a lot of this going on here. So people need to know who you are.
Yes, man.
So let's start with your entrepreneurial journey.
Okay.
What was your first taste of entrepreneurship and how did it shape your mindset?
My first entrepreneurship was as a teenager. I started teaching piano and voice lessons to my friends that were in the community. So that began my journey. Just teaching them what I knew.
Mm-hmm.
Just transferring of knowledge.
Okay. So then you've always been that person that wanted to give back and help others to do what was best for them.
That's it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And so
it's all about empowering others and helping them tap into the gifts that they have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So how did your upbringing influence build something of your own?
I saw my grandmother starting business. You know, she had a business. She was an upholster. Um, she had a garden. She sold things. My father was a tailor. My mom was a seamstress. They had a business together. I saw entrepreneurship in the household, and
Mhm.
so it's trickled down through, you know, from generation to the next generation. My father still does upholstery. He still does, um, you know, things as a tailor. And not only that, he's a pastor, and you know, he's
Mhm.
had a background in project management as well and procurement. So some of those traits and those characteristics have passed down to me. Just that work ethic.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, what challenges did you face launching your first business?
Funding, money. Though
That's atypical with folk that look like
yeah,
us.
that was one of the first challenges. And I've never been probably the best promoter of myself, you know,
Mhm.
and what I do. So I think that maybe if I had promoted myself a little bit more, maybe some things would be a little bit more successful.
Mhm.
But I think that what I've done has been great, and I just try to glean from others and just try to give back, and I know that the door is open, you know. So
Mhm.
uh, I would encourage anybody, you know, if they have business ideas, don't give up, you know, because the doors will open and things will turn around. Yeah.
Mhm.
So even with the challenges that I face, you know, is uh, funding. Uh, the funding can come, you know. Just don't give up.
So, can you tell us, with that situation arising, with that obstacle being in front of you, what did you do to make things better for yourself to keep going?
Um, just push through it, you know, and seek the help of others. Sometimes I think that we don't always seek the help of others, but I've learned to, you know, seek help. If I don't know how to make a way out of it, I just seek help. Um,
Mhm.
I think back to uh, one of the businesses that I started with a friend or a group of friends. We started a prepaid debit card. It was called the Civic Card.
Mhm.
And one of the challenges that we face is just once again marketing, you know, funding for marketing to be able to push it. So you know, we did the best that we could, and it was a great attempt to where it could create that once again community, all about community, you know, putting
Mhm.
dollars back into the community. And since then I've seen other prepaid debit cards come, and they're
Mhm.
doing great. But it was some lessons learned. You know, some things that some pitfalls that we had, some tragedy that happened within, you know, the organization. But it didn't stop us. You know, it didn't stop me from wanting to pursue other avenues and other areas of business.
Mm. So, so then, in that case, with your card, when you say that you guys, had the situation where you didn't know how to market and so forth, what were you guys using as marketing tools that you would do different today?
Um, that I would do different today. Uh, well, for one, utilizing this a little bit more.
I know that's
this,
right.
this has become a great tool, and I think that prepaid debit card was like around 2013. So some of the
Mhm.
advancements that we have with AI, and that I think
Right.
AI has changed the game, and so I think that with that and word of mouth, you know.
Mhm.
Continuing to push where we could. We made some great strides to partner with some great entities. But once again, like I said, one of the founding partner, his son passed away. It was a tragic thing, and it kind of disrupted the flow of what we had been working on. And
Mhm.
so we just kind of had to take a step back and regroup And during that time, with the prepaid debit card, we got hacked. It's always about keeping, having the funds to be able to safeguard yourself. And we got hacked, so we had to end up just kind of putting that on a hold, and that business was dissolved. But it didn't stop. It didn't interrupt or deter me from wanting to move on and pursue other avenues of business.
So, how do you define success as an entrepreneur?
Um, you have to know here, that everything that you do is successful. I would tell people, just because you don't see the metrics that or your goals, if you reach your goals, I think that's success. If you're making an impact, if it's one person, or versus the masses that is being impacted by what you're doing, I think that's success.
Well, but I'm tell you what I've always thought, and I know that most people, especially in the entrepreneur game, as you say, looking at metrics and things of that nature, and they like to measure everything based on the money value. I don't see it that way.
Right.
For me, I think once you actually get to the point that you have actually launched that business,
that's
you're
success.
successful.
It's right here.
Yes. Because I mean, if you've taken the time and you've done what was necessary to get it going, then that means that everything that you put in after that, that's all success.
Everything,
you just got to know how to maintain it and grow it.
That's it. That's it. I wholeheartedly agree. Yeah, definitely.
So what industries have you worked in, and which ones felt most aligned with your purpose?
I've worked in music. I've worked in project management, from the IT stand. What matches my my purpose is music.
Okay.
I would say music and film. What I'm dabbling in now with the documentaries that I'm working on.
Really?
I think music is the universal language, and I think that if you can touch the heart of people through music, and you have a positive message, a message that is empowering and uplifting, music that feeds the soul, in a time of need, whatever it is. I think that is what my purpose is. I find purpose in being able to utilize arts, the form of arts, to engage people, to impact people, to, especially with youth, I always like to be around youth and encouraging them to utilize their gifts, and recognizing the consequences of if you don't and if you do, that what that can yield. I think that I've learned that in the arts, if you excelling in music, most people excel in mathematics, so they go hand in hand. If you can read, actors, they excel, artists, they excel by visual stimulation. And I've had some students that have been brilliant artists, so I like to try to tap into those gifts, and I find my purpose in that.
So tell us, what is it about the creative process that makes you feel so much more comfortable to just excel and just flow and just do your thing? What is it about that process?
I was talking to a friend about this the other day, and we were sharing that no matter how you feel, your day might be going bad, you might be sick, you might not be feeling the best, but when you tap into the gift that is in you, there is this overdrive that shifts in, and that brings me joy. When I'm sitting at the keyboard, I think back to like even with David. David was a musician, and David was called on to soothe the kings that were dealing with their demons or dealing with whatever. And I think that I find that same joy and that same gift. There's nothing like music. Like I said, it's a universal language. I mean, when you can create and you can move others through the gift, and not only move others but move yourself.
Right.
I always say it starts here first. It starts with yourself. And so music, art, film, changing the narrative through medium, changing, transforming lives, transforming the way people think and the ideas that they have. It all comes from those aspects of music and the arts. We see it in all the music, that the R&B, the pop, the rap, the movies that we see. It does. It changes the narrative. It changes the view of what people think. And I just want to create positive stuff that will stimulate people to move forward.
So can you tell us, what is it about the positive message that you think is so reinforcing to others, but also to that person that's doing the positive reinforcement? What is it about that you think stimulates the soul and makes people feel so at ease?
I would say the positive message. I think that so many people are with where our world is right now, and the things that are going on in people's lives, being in your head, thinking about things, ruminating on things that haven't come yet. I think that sometimes when you get a positive word or something that speaks to your situation, that speaks to whatever you're facing and whatever you're challenged by. And sometimes it could be a song that you hear. It could be a little message that you get online, or a visual image that could change where a person was from that moment to the next. And I find that stimulating. I find that that lets me know, to me, that's success, when you can touch somebody and change what they were feeling from one moment that was negative to a positive moment. And not all the time will you create something that will be positive or people will receive it that way. But if you do what you do, somebody will be impacted by it.
Yes. How do you balance creativity with strategy in your ventures?
Creativity and strategy, the balance of is a difficult thing sometimes.
Tell me about it.
That's a difficult thing. I think sometimes I'm a Pisces. I'm a very creative person. So I'm a spontaneous person, and I'm the type of person where sometimes I'll just start the project and start the work, and I haven't really thought it through. So sometimes the strategy comes along with it. Sometimes the balance is, and then sometimes you got to take a step back and regroup. Say, hey, this is not working quite the way I planned for it to. That's happened to me a lot. And but I think it's about the circle that you have around you, the support that you have around you, the people that rally around you and that can help lift you up when there is that imbalance. I'm glad I have a great team of people around me that when I get too out there in my thinking, that they help me kind of stay balanced. So sometimes the balance is not all, and the strategic balance is not all here. I lean to my sister, and she's my business partner, and I lean to other business partners that I have, Adrian Whaley with the Queens Underground, and some of my church people. They rally around me, and they're great support and helping me stay balanced and keep pushing me forward.
So, in that whole thing, though, because I know that is definitely a fine, delicate balance, especially if you can balance those two. But do you find it that when you're in that moment where you say you'll just jump in and just start doing the work, do you work, and as you're working, you're starting to strategize and organize
Yes,
in your mind, and you go from that point?
definitely. That's when that project manager kicks in.
Okay. So like
Because sometimes my life is not managed like a project manager, and sometimes the creativity is not managed the same way. But once I see the vision, I can take a step back and I can really finally align things, and even with the projects that I'm working on now, I've learned to put together a good business plan and a project plan to make sure that I'm hitting my targets and my milestones, and making sure that I'm dotting my I's and crossing my T's, as much as I can. And then I have my people to come in and help sweep up what's dropped.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So what's one business failure that taught you a lasting lesson?
Mm. Being I've learned this, being transparent with team, uh I learned that um uh being upfront and sharing what's going on with the business, being being organized, um those are some things that I have really, really learned to focus in on a little bit more. Following through, being consistent. Um, those are some things that uh, I've seen become a little bit more, um, that I've had to focus a little bit more on. And
Mhm.
so I would say that those are some things that have made me think about what it looks like to be a little bit more consistent in business. And so those are some things that I have seen as a failure that I've been able to grow and learn from.
Mhm. So how do you stay grounded while scaling your vision?
Mm. Uh, my team. I always go
Okay.
back to team, having a strong team,
Mhm.
uh, not biting off more than I can chew, um,
Mhm.
and taking those steps. And like I said, like I can always be in my head creative sometimes, and I can miss some of the things that I need to be focused on.
Mhm.
Um, but having a strong team,
Mhm.
yeah.
So what advice do you give young Black entrepreneurs starting out?
Uh, if you have a vision, if you have a dream, don't give up. Find somebody that can be there to support you, have a good support group, have a good support team, but don't give up. Uh, learn your craft, be the best at your craft. Um, yeah, just be the best at your craft, and everything else, your gift will make room for you.
Mhm.
If you know your craft, your gift will make room for you.
So what legacy do you want your businesses to leave behind?
Empowerment, um, being empowered by uh, elevating other people. I want it to be elevating. I wanted to empower people, and I wanted to transform lives uh, with each business unit. I want it to be life transforming, to where people can thrive. And I'm just one person making one step. And if I could rally around with other people and uh, partner with other people, I think that we can build great things, and as a people, especially as a people of color.
Right. And so, I mean, I think for all these wonderful things you're doing, because I think it seems like it's all community related,
All
that I
community.
think that, it would be more than fitting that your legacy be hopefully that I don't want to see that you have to, that we go to that status, but I'm sure that you'll be in big lights in a lot of places because, no, seriously. And when I say this, I think you'll be in big lights in a lot of places because, I think being so interwoven, not just into the community, but into people and wanting to do the empowerment part and, trying to be that bridge, that people can cross. That's always a strong message to send. And see, like, you're basically like so many guests that come here on the show, that you're that actual hero that people need to know. I mean, forget them people you see that's got all of these, that's got all that big marketing, right? And they got this big marketing that's putting out really nothing but them. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
But see, they're not doing those things that you're doing. And like the guests that come on the show, what they're doing, you guys are the real heroes.
Thank you, man.
Really.
Thank you.
Let's transcend over to your community engagement and impact.
Okay.
And tell us, what does community engagement mean to you personally?
Community engagement to me, it means reaching those that don't have, that are lacking, reaching those that the disenfranchised, those that are the least thought of, those that are left behind, and lifting them up. Me and my sister, we have a nonprofit that we're getting ready to get started. It's called the Right House, RITE, Restore, Inspire, Transform, and Elevate.
All right.
And it's geared towards people that have been incarcerated, that are coming out, and creating like jobs, creating programs to where they could be able to get the training that, to be able to do what they do. Sometimes you've got people that are coming out of prison and coming out of the military as well, that the only skill that they have is being in the military, and they don't have any other skills. So with the Right House, we're wanting to create and partner with other people that have skills that can teach. Like with my father. My father, I told you that he does upholstery, and he also is a tailor. And some of the things that he's doing right now, working with groups where he lives in Texas, is teaching young people how to sew, teaching people how the art. And so that's what I want to do, teach, partner with people that can uplift and give back, whether it's financial literacy, whether it's reading, whether it's carpentry, whatever trade it is. I want to be able to partner with those type of people and give back to the community.
Well, something, what I just was listening to you say that really struck a chord with me. I think that's really great is when you mentioned those that were incarcerated or those that were in the military, because basically, even though they're different avenues, they're really one and the same. Because when you are coming from being incarcerated, you're just let back out into society like a free slave with nothing, and everything's been taken away from you.
That's it.
And when you are in the military, I mean, there are some standings where you've learned some trades or you learn how to do things, and there are things that you could do a whole lot better, but you're just unleashed back out into society, and you've got to be able to forge on your own. Now, you see, in the military, because I'm proud military, is that, you learn how to, how to survive. So survival skills are not a problem. But it's these other skills that you got where you don't actually know how to actually take this and just throw this over here and make it work.
Right.
And so I think that actually, that's a very great and creative idea. Right. And because I think, once you guys get your organization going up, I'm sure that you guys are going to more than partner and work with a lot of organizations that's going to get these people transitioned over to you.
Right.
So what was the idea behind that? Was it you and your sister together, or was it another one of your great ideas
No,
that you said, well, we could do this?
actually, it was my sister. It was my sister's.
Hmm.
It was one of our. It was her idea to do the dealing with veterans. With her being a veteran, there's
Okay.
not a lot of resources that are given when they come out, um, and so she's been wanting to tap into how can they get resources. You know, the resources that they need and the advocacy that they need, the agency that they need, and
Hmm.
uh, you know, going through being homeless, you know, and experiencing those type of things, um, it makes you have a greater appreciation and passion for those that are lacking and that go without and that don't have what they need. And so her idea was to create an agency, a program that would be able to cater to that. And so that's one of the things that we've been working on, partnering with the right people to where we can implement and acclimate change.
Oh, wow. So, how do you identify the needs of the communities you serve?
Oh wow. I'm very active with my church. You know, I do food pantry ministry.
Hmm.
I'm big on that. Even with the arts, you know, I engage through the arts, working with different organizations, boys and girls clubs, different groups. Uh, I'm working. I'll be working with a friend of mine, Avid Williams, who has the CEW music group. He's going to be teaching an after-school program to youth in music and arts, and so I'll be working with him on that. So a lot of my engagement is dealing with the music and the arts, you know, and engaging. Once again, that restore, inspiring, transforming, and elevating. And I believe in that, you know, that I think that people can be transformed when they find purpose themselves. And when you engage people and when you can let them know that they have purpose and you can help guide them find that purpose and nurture that purpose, to me, that's fulfilling engagement to me.
Hmm. So, when your people, when you're working with these people out in the various communities and you're bringing them these resources, what is the one thing you want those people to know that this is what Marcus Flanders was all about and this is how he helped me?
I don't like to take any credit for anything. It's like I
What?
mean I because like I said when I first started, I feel I have a servant heart, man. I
Right.
give, and I give, and to me, if I'm never recognized for it, I believe that if you plant the seed, it's gonna grow, you know,
Mhm.
and it'll get nurtured. I mean, even if you don't do all the nurturing itself, I mean, it will get nurtured. So I believe in planting seeds and standing back and watching it grow. And to me, that's a greater joy than anything. So
I understand.
if they were to say, "Hey, B Marcus helped me," I would say, "To God be the glory," because I didn't do it by my own strength.
Well, that's understandable, but you know what? So I guess then I'll have to be the sounding board for you and so many others that have come to this show because I'm serious as a heart attack. It is my goal that as heroes like yourself and all the others that have come here to the show, that America in Black and White is going to more than amplify what you do.
uh,
And people are going to know that this is who is doing this and not these folk. So y'all need to be looking at this, not over here, because
yes,
it's very important. I understand, like I say, I understand about, you not wanting to take credit for the work that you do because it's a servant heart. That is admirable. But believe me, that admiration, has to get to that point that, people have to know that a lot of the stuff that's actually transpiring it's got to have you on there. That's part of your brand because your brand is more than that logo, you know?
yes.
And so that's what people got to know. Like, well, hey, that's B. Marcus Flanders right there. You know, just like they go crazy when they see Eric Benet somewhere. Oh, that's B. Marcus. You never thought about that?
Oh, I really haven't. I really haven't. My father and my sister, they always tell me, "Hey, listen, you are greater than you think that you are,"
Yes.
and sometimes it's a hard thing to. I listen. I just use the gift that God give me, and like when I'm at the keyboard or when I'm teaching music or whatever it is I'm doing, I'm just trying to do it from the best, and hoping that that they not see just me, but they see the light that shines within me.
Well, I'm sure that they see that because, you know, when you have a bright spirit, no matter what you say, as you say, no matter what you say, what you do, people are going to always see that spirit. And that's the thing that sets you apart from everybody else.
Peace and blessings.
What's one initiative you're most proud of?
I'm honestly right now, I'm proud of this documentary that I'm working on, Freedom. It's
Okay.
called From the Eyes of Many. It's dealing with what does freedom mean to you and what was your earliest moment of freedom. And just hearing the different responses about what freedom is, that has been a great joy because I'm hoping that as we see this film, as people see this film, that they will see and hear the voice of others and let it resonate within them. And if we begin to start having these type of dialogues, and as I continue to build out my series of From the Eyes of Many, dealing with unlabeled, breaking the labels, disrupting, systems that have created labels that we live by, that is keeping us in chains, and in the chains of our mind, in the chains of how we spend our dollar, in the chains that we do, in the chains that we put on others. So when I think of freedom and I think of the documentaries that I'm working on and the works like that, I want to be able to just to create change in how we think, transforming the mind. So that is something that that's dear to my heart. And so it is very special to me right now that that body of work, From the Eyes of Many.
So when is that supposed to be completed?
It's going to be completed at the end of this month. There's a release date on the end of this month, September 20th, right now.
Okay.
So you'll be hearing a little bit more about that from the eyes of many. So I'm looking
Okay.
forward.
Because look, I definitely would love to play it.
Yes, definitely. I would love for you to play it.
Yes, I would definitely love to play it because that in itself it means and it does many things. And again, there's like I don't know how many times I can write about some similarities to that, but to see a visual such as that makes so much sense here in this modern era would be so impactful.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Also, I'm working on a documentary, even on my church, Fountain Baptist Church. It was founded by a woman who was a housemaid, and she started a church right in Summit, New Jersey, and it's about 100 over 125 years old, and so I'm doing a documentary on that church of how how throughout history she worked with some of the greatest leaders of her time in around the late 1800s, and brought them right to Fountain Baptist Church. So I want to shine light on some of the heroes that have inspired me. I never knew Violet Johnson, but her spirit and me being a part of Fountain Baptist has continued to inspire me to do the things that I do.
How do you build trust and collaboration across different groups?
How do I build trusting relationships? I keep my eyes peeled. No, you have to keep your eyes wide open and prayer. praying with the groups of people that you meet,
Mhm.
recognizing the alignment, being intentional about what the work is. I've often found that my success has been in the alignment and recognizing alignment. And when things are not aligned, I move out of it real quick. To me, if it's not, if we are coming together and we have an idea and your vision is not propelling mine, or my vision is not propelling yours, and that means that we're not synced and we're not alignment.
Mhm.
That's, to me, that's a dead trust issue right there. So if
Mhm.
we're not in aligned and we're not in sync, and if it's something, I always look at it as God sent,
Mhm.
that the universe, God has a way of connecting people that need to be connected. And
Mhm.
I nurture that, and we build trust. And once again, transparency, being intentional.
Mhm.
One of the things I've learned is not to be emotional and get too caught up and work with the facts. And uh, that's that thing of keeping your eyes open, and not getting too bogged down in the emotional part of it, but getting the work done and working with people that can get the work done.
Well, I want to tell you, I appreciate you for trusting me enough to be here on the show,
Mm,
because I know that when you go on a live platform, sometimes I know that that can be one of those things like, really,
yeah,
you know, but when you actually, I think just in amplifying the truth, I mean, that makes it really easy for me.
right, right.
And so, it's like, with your mission made that easy for me. When I know, when we first connected on LinkedIn, I know
Yes,
it took a minute, but
yes,
it came to that point. And I think that's because it was supposed to be,
exactly,
you know.
exactly. When you hit me up and you connected with me, it was like right on time. It was that prayer that I was looking for,
Mhm.
confirmation that I was on the right path. And when
Mhm.
you connected with me, I was like, yeah, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do.
Um, can you tell us this? What role does mentorship play in your outreach?
What role does it play?
Mhm.
A lot, I think. It plays a big role. Mentorship. I look at who my mentors are
Mhm.
and how they equipped me and gave me tools.
Mhm.
Um, and like I said, I like to pass along, and I've been doing that since I was in middle school, passing along what I learned. And to me, if you can pass along what you know and not
Mhm.
hold it,
Right.
you can watch it grow. And then not only do you watch it grow, you watch yourself grow.
Mhm.
Because you see what you've instilled and what you've transferred over to others. You see that, and to me, I can't help but grow from that. So that is a big role that I see. What I do and what I've learned from others, I like to pass it on to others. And to me, I think that's a big role of mentorship.
Mm. So, how do you use entrepreneurship to uplift others?
Um, it's just utilizing what's in me, utilizing once again those tools, the business acumen that I see in others. Um, when I see somebody thriving and I see what they're doing, I like to try to surround myself around people that's doing what I'm doing and doing it better.
Mhm.
To where I can learn. And it's not about trying to outshine somebody else. It's just a thing
Mhm.
about trying to do the best that you can and doing quality work, whatever
Right.
it is. If you are a cab driver, be the best cab driver and do quality work. If you are a waitress, I say come in with the best attitude. And I've learned that even with myself as a musician. Go in, do the job, do it the best way you can, because your work will speak for itself.
Mhm. So let me just ask you this, because it's like, it's like you have a thing, and I want you to tell us, when it comes to you dealing with the people in the community, how does your spirituality play in your dealing with the people in the community?
I like for them to see it. I hope they can see it. Like that's that thing of letting the light shine in me. It's not where I have to let people know I'm being spiritual.
Right.
If they see it, that's what they see. This is who I am. Any of
Hmm.
my friends will tell you that's who Brandon is. He's always got a little smile on his face, even when he's frowning. And
Hmm.
so I want people to see um, just the gift that's in me, and that's it. It's the light that shines. It's the light that shines, and that light comes from a higher source.
What's the most powerful story you've witnessed through your community work?
Um, Working with the church, I think giving back. My church, during Katrina, when I first joined Fountain, they raised $1 million for Hurricane Katrina.
Hmm.
And some of the work that we did, it wasn't also about the money. It's about the people who went and did the work in Louisiana, in New Orleans. We
Hmm.
went to some schools that had been flooded out. We went to some homes that had been flooded out, and to see people rally around and do something for others, and get down and do dirty work, and do work that is meaningful and that is impactful. Um,
Hmm.
that is what speaks to me, is getting out doing the work that nobody else wants to do, or nobody else thinks, or they think less of. So when I find myself around circles that I can rally around and I can work with and partner with, um, those are things that touch my heart, and those are the most meaningful things. So when we're doing community outreach on every third Saturday, and we're making those deliveries of people who need food, and you hear them saying, "Hey, I needed this. This is right on time. I thank God for y'all." To
Hmm.
me, I think that is engagement, that is lasting, and that is impactful. When children during the holidays, that they get clothes and they get gifts, from the churches and from the community organizations that I'm a part of, to see the smile on those children's faces and see the relief on those families' faces, that somebody is thinking of them and somebody is showing love, and to me that is impactful.
Hmm. How do you navigate resistance or skepticism in underserved areas?
uh Repeat that again.
How do you navigate resistance or skepticism in underserved areas, underserved communities?
How do I deal with it?
No.
um
How do you navigate the resistance or skepticism? Have you ever
that's a good
been? Have you
that's a good
ever? Have you
that's
ever
a good question.
faced that? Where people have either resisted or was skeptical when you came into the community to help.
Not a lot. I haven't received that a lot.
Okay.
In fact, when we do go into the areas, if we don't have enough, there's a lot of people there saying, "Hey, how can we be a part of that program?" How
Mhm.
can we receive what they're receiving? I That hurts me even more, of us not sometimes having the resources to be able to cater to all of the needs of that community.
Mhm.
But I've never been in a situation to where there was resistance about what we were trying to do. The only time that I saw a resistance was when I first started uh, I had a nonprofit called CCAM, the Center of Creative Arts and Music, and I started it in Texas, and it was geared towards, we were given lessons in piano, in dance, oratorical speaking, and I partnered with some of the boys clubs and the YMCA's, and I saw resistance coming from those saying some of the people saying, "Hey, my children are going to be involved in sports; they're not going to be involved in arts." And to me, that was a resistance, And I was like, this is a free. We're not taking any money from you. This is free, and we're giving back. And I had people from the dance academy in Dallas that were coming out, spending their time, to show up for people that didn't show up. People would sign up and say they were gonna be there, and I would get 2 or 3 people. And so that's the most resistance that I've seen. But as far as anything here in Jersey, since I've been here, I haven't seen a whole lot of resistance.
What's your approach to sustainable impact?
Sustainable impact. Everything that I try to do is sustainable. Even with the project 21 Bridge, the affordable housing. I'm looking at how we can create sustainable living systems to where we're utilizing green energy. We're utilizing solar energy, gray water cleaning systems, those type of things. I think everything that I try to do is something that can be sustainable, something that people can take, and they can create with it, and they can continue to create and create. So I think sustainability is dealing with being able to create and being able to self-sustain, from what your gifts are. Once again, your gifts will make room for you. If you tap into it, I want to encourage others to know, if you tap into your gifts, it can be sustaining and life sustaining, and it can be all that you need. You just got to have the faith. And sometimes faith is the thing that is lacking, but if you have strong faith and you have belief, and that's why I say, if you have a team of people that can support you, I think that anything, it could be sustainable.
How do you protect your peace while serving others?
Oh man, I can sometimes be a loner, after I've served, I've got to leave, that's me protecting my peace, being in a place of peace, and spending some time by myself and hearing from the greater, surrounding myself around good energy, and trying not to get around low vibrations. I'm all about good energy and good vibes. So I find peace in that. So if I'm able to center myself around people that are peaceful and peacemakers, I tend to protect my peace that way, And so as I'm creating, as I'm giving, as engaging as I am, I still do try to find my peace and refuge with some alone time.
Let's transcend over to your work as the Minister of Music and Faith Leadership. And tell us what led you to become the Minister of Music.
I started playing at an early age, and I started out playing at my father's church, and from there I got called to play at other churches, and I started being minister of music at a church at the age of 17 in Fort Worth, Texas. And ever since then, I've been operating in the role of minister of music, with the exception of a short period of time of transition before I came to New Jersey. I was working at St. John, working under the minister of music, Clark Joseph. And I gained a lot of great knowledge from him. Starting out at an early age as minister of music, I got thrusted. It was like I was thrown into that, and having to minister and lead people that was 2 and 3 and 4 times my age.
Mhm.
it I learned a lot, but at the same time, it I did not possess all the skills that I needed to be great at what I did. So to sit under somebody like Clark Joseph and having mentors around me, um, like all of the other musicians that are in the Dallas Fort Worth area that mentored me, I was thankful for that. So when I came to uh, New Jersey, I was equipped and prepared for that, and I grew. I learned a lot doing ministry at Fountain, and so it was challenging, but it was also rewarding, and once again I was able to utilize the gift that God gave me, and so yeah.
So, can you tell us, how does music serve as a spiritual and emotional bridge in your ministry?
Oh man, music. I think music, it connects people to God. You know, it it pours, it sets atmosphere for word to come from preacher. You know, I think music is it, it, it it's the soul of the church. You know, with the word, and for me to be able to operate and utilize that gift to where it impacts that is, it's a great thing. It's a great burden, but once again, it's rewarding. And so I think that anybody that is in music ministry, I believe they would all probably say the same thing, that that is a burden, but it's rewarding. And when you are able to connect people with to God through music, and lift, you know, and lift God up and give music back to God, give the gift back to God, I think that is, yeah.
So, what's your philosophy on worship and leadership?
My philosophy on worship and leadership.
Mhm.
Uh, they definitely, there's a definitely a hand in hand thing there. Worship is what we give back to God, you know, and I think
Mhm.
that in the worship that we do, God requires us to be skilled at it, you
Mhm.
know, be able to lead others in worship, being able um, to guide, you know, being able to once again empower. You know, when you're in as leadership, for me, one of the greatest gifts was for me to empower those that worked with me, you know, and those create. You know, if we can create, I think that we can touch other lives, and it's just being able to lead others to the otherness. I think that's another, being able to tap into the gifts that they have within them, being able to understand who God is in their lives. And as leaders, we are to guide others and point them to the greater. And not only the greater, but the greater that is within them. You know, you know, greater is he that is within you than he that is
Mhm.
in the world, you know. And I think that when you can lead others to understand that you've got greatness in you,
Right.
then we as leaders, we're doing what we're supposed to do in worship.
So, how do you balance tradition and innovation in church music?
That's a good one. I've started a book called um, when the medium meets the majestic. I think
Mhm.
that's the title. And learn that is to me like the technology and all the stuff um, that is in worship right now. I think that uh, That is a really good one, because me and some friends, we have really been talking about how to balance where technology is in worship and how we utilize that um, to where it is not so much where it's a show, but we're not um, putting so much show over the presence of God, you know. And I think that is important for us to be able to balance out what is show and what is the presence, you know, and being able to differentiate that. I think there's some work that we need to do in the church to be able to balance that out.
With that sounds like more like on the lines of modernizing traditional music to give it a different spin.
Um, I I have no problem with tradition. You know, I think tradition is good, but there has to be some form of, at the same time, there has to be some form of recognizing that there's change. You know, I think that it says he wants a new song.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So kind of like when you use the tradition, if you stuck with the tradition and you want to modernize it to give it a different spin, but keep it from the spiritual side, you know, to put all four of those variables in the chamber and shake them up, what comes out?
It could be a mess. It could be a mess if it's not managed and navigated well, you know.
Right.
I think that we have to once again, like I said, that's something that the church has to be able to really balance out, is bringing tradition and modern together. How do we marry the two? And how do we be able to, because I think that if we get to the point to where we're able to reach people where they are and recognize, you know, just reaching people where they are, that they'll be able to have the appreciation for the old 100s, you know, those old spirituals, you know, and being able to just integrate. I think that some of the integration that is being done, we just got to be a little careful of, are we taking away from the majestic to keep the medium? You know, so, and sometimes people look at the majestic as the tradition. I don't necessarily look at it as the tradition. I just look at it as, where do you find peace? And I would look at it like that, even within the modern and the tradition. Where do you find peace, and where do you find your strength when you are worshiping?
Well, see, remember what you said earlier. You got your friend AI. AI can help you with that.
You got to be careful of AI. How long is AI going to be around?
It's going to be around. Look, that ain't no turning back from that. Ain't no turning back from that.
Well,
it's
AI,
like
AI
you're
will
going to
be
have to
here,
use that, because it's here.
But how long will it be around until it becomes destructive?
Well, see, that's just the thing. You know, the only way it becomes destructive is that it destroys itself. Because what has been integrated, as you mentioned earlier, also into today's culture is, you know, despite all the things that are going on now and how people's lives are being affected, AI is the centerpiece. Because, you know, if you're about innovation, okay, and you're about the new era as we're moving forward, and you're a creative, then AI makes more sense than you can ever imagine.
Right.
And see, so it's not going anywhere, because I think for those that are still late and straggling to come into the party, while they're still straggling, remember, AI grows every second,
Every second,
minute, every
second.
hour, every day.
Yes.
It's growing and it's changing.
Yes.
So now we're at a point now that AI can just like, which is which is then
It's
you're just
scary.
using those sci-fi movies.
It's scary. Now let's talk about the sci-fi movies. Now there's movies where the AI ended up destroying itself, or a man had to destroy it because it got too far advanced.
Right.
And I that's why I say that I try to be creative enough to where I utilize the resources of modern technology, but I
Mhm.
also try to hold on to what was the foundation of what that modern technology was built on. I,
Mhm.
I've often said I believe that I don't know if we'll see it in this time right now, but I don't know when. But there will be a time that cassette tapes may have to come back or CDs may have to come back. So those people who
See,
have those in the vault,
well,
because
remember,
when
vinyl is back already,
right, so
and so you
when
know,
systems break and AI is messing up and we're not able to control what we think that we can control, there may be some times of that. I always say these movies tell us stories for some reasons. You know,
mhm,
I don't care how absurd it could be or how outlandish it could be. A lot of those
mhm.
outlandish things have become a reality.
Yes, they have. They
So
have.
I just think that we just have to be careful, about how we utilize the things. I think everything that we do is in moderation. It has to be, and
Mhm.
if not, it will overtake us and we'll be consumed by our own stuff.
Ain't that something? Ain't that something? Eating on yourself.
Yeah,
Now, that's just a visual that you cannot wrap your head around, but that's primarily what this whole thing is about.
yeah. The Walking Dead. We've seen the movie. We've seen that show, The Walking Dead, where they're eating on themselves and eating each other. And
Yes. What's one moment in ministry that deeply moved you?
oh, one moment in ministry. There's a lot of moments that
Well,
that moved me.
the best one.
Um, I guess the in ministry. Um, I guess being at my church, Fountain. A lot of the things that we did ministry wise.
Mhm.
Um, helping with Katrina. The mission work that we've done. I look at mission work, ministry. That's ministry, not just musically, but the ministry work that we've done overall as a church. And to me, those have been memorable moments. I look at my former pastor, Pastor Sanders, was there at Fountain for 40 years, and to see him to to retire, and that transference of passing the torch. I believe in passing the torch in anything, and to me that was a big thing for when I retired as well, passing the torch on to the next. And to me, those are big moments of ministry when what you've done can be passed on for others to take to another level.
So, how do you mentor young musicians in the church?
um, let them do what they do, watch them work. I've never been that type of person where I wanted a young person to get off the piano if I see them playing after church or on the drums, because that's how I started. So I encourage them. I show them things, if they're open to learning, um, and just try to give what I can give. Encourage where I can encourage, and uplift where I can.
So, what role does faith play in your entrepreneurial and community work?
It's the foundation.
Mhm.
Faith without works is dead.
Mhm.
You know,
It's the
and
end all be all.
that's it. That's it. When I wake up, it starts with faith. It
Mhm.
starts with God has given me brand new mercies and daily benefits. And what am I going to do with it?
Mm-hmm.
I have to have faith. If he had faith in me, I have to have faith that he's going to get me through it.
Mm-hmm.
And that carries over in everything that I do. My business partner, my sister, I tell her everything is a faith walk. When we became business partner, it was a covenant relationship. I'm working on some other projects, and those are covenant relationships with David Dotson. I'm working on with him. Adrian Whaley, I'm working on with her. The names go on, and those are meaningful things, and it all begins with faith. And once again, they're aligned with faith too. So I'm aligned with faith believers and faith workers.
So, how do you handle the weight of spiritual responsibility?
It's a heavy weight. I rely on a strength that is greater than I. Solely, I rely on God. My strength comes from greater. He's the vine, I'm the branches. I'm rooted and grounded.
Oh, there you go. I like that. A new mantra.
I'm rooted and grounded. Yeah.
Rooted and grounded. What's your vision for the future of music ministry?
Oh, my vision for music ministry is to see God get full glory. It's like I have a vision that even with the churches that I'm working with, I have a vision to see them grow, to see them take the congregation and take the people to another dimension of worship, to where it is free, it is undignified praise, it's undignified, worship to God. He said if we do the lifting, that he'll do the drawing. And I believe that if we continue to lift, the church will become what it's supposed to. The people of God will become what they're supposed to. And we will be washed and transformed. And I think that music has a way of doing that. It has a way of cleansing the soul. And I think that if our souls can be cleansed and we can reach each other musically, and other musicians, other singers, other directors, I think that we can make great strides in music ministry.
So, how do you integrate your musical gifts into your broader mission?
They just play out. I don't know quite how to answer that. My musical gifts are just what they are. And when I set out to do something musically, or whenever I set out to do something dealing in ministry, I just do it intentionally, and I do it with purpose.
Let's put it to you this way. Overall, from your entrepreneurial spirits and the things that you do, what's that mission?
To give.
It's to give.
To
Okay.
give.
Yes, to give. GIVE.
Yes.
Okay. So if that's to give, but also to grow it at the same time, how does music play in that?
I don't know. To me, music is the gift that just keeps on giving.
Mhm.
I I don't know quite.
Would that be more of your innovation?
Probably so. It probably would be more than innovation. Because everything starts with music. I mean, when I wake up, I'm listening to some form of music. You know, it's stimulating me, you know. So I think that music is stimulating. Music gets people up. If you walk into a club and the right song is playing, it will get you up, you know. And I
Right.
think that music is that stimulant that will get people up, get people moving, get people motivated to create, to be innovative, to do whatever it is that they want to do. Um, so to me, like I said, music is that universal language. We saw it with Happy. You know, I think Happy was one of the greatest songs that
Mhm.
reached everybody. You know,
Yes, it did.
and so people were able to do that. And every praise is to our God. Stuff like that. Those songs, those are musical pieces that got people up and got people motivated. I know when people at my church they hear every praise is to our God, it's like almost a brand new song.
Mhm.
So
I
I
can
think that
imagine.
I think that when you tap into something musically and you have a musical gift, and when you have even those that don't sing the best, when you hear them sing and they're singing from the heart, that's all that matters.
Mhm.
When it's a gift that is used from the heart, to me, that's all that matters. So I think musically it impacts everything I do, from the innovative to the spiritual to every aspect of my life. I'm thankful for the gift of music.
So, when I reached out to you as well, I mentioned to you that we do Black History 365.
Mhm.
And I ask you, in your life and career, who was the most influential person in Black history? You mentioned to me it was your grandmother, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Oprah Winfrey, and Tyler Perry. Can you tell me why is your grandmother such a powerful influence in your life?
My grandmother's 104 and
Oh, wow.
still operating with
Oh,
all of her
wow.
faculties. She lives by herself. She does for herself. She has homemade that comes in that helps her with certain things, but she still has life. And the things that she's done in her life has been an example, you know.
Mhm,
And just to see that she's still here and still a testament and still can witness to some of the things that's happened in history,
mhm,
and being able to predict, you know, when Trump was elected again, she said, "Oh, he's going to be president again because that's what the people want," you know, and just that foresight and the wisdom that comes from her, you know, just
mhm,
to me that has been impactful in my life.
mhm,
um, Along with the others. I think that they led a life. They had mission. Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, not only just them, Medgar Evers. There's a whole lot of others that have
mhm,
had impact in history, um, that that we still benefit from their voice. We still benefit from some of the strides that they made. And I look at um, Tyler Perry and Oprah and some of the others, you know, not just them, but there's some business businessmen and businesswomen um, that have impacted, you know, and that have been inspirational in my life. But just to see where Oprah and Tyler Perry have come from and what they have been able to to obtain and be able to some of the successes that they've had, I think that has been very impactful. Shonda Rhimes, you know, is a great influence when it comes to film, you know, as well. So when I look at people that have done things business wise in film and in the arts, that's encouraging to me to let me know that if they can do it, I can do it.
So, what lessons did your grandmother teach you that still guide you today?
Discipline, um, not giving up. That's how I first started learning to play, between my grandmother and my dad. I would sit at my grandmother's piano. I have a picture of me when I was about uh, maybe not even a year old, sitting at the piano in my diapers playing, and
Oh, wow.
her continuing to encourage me, so her encouragement has been great for my life.
Mhm. So, how does Malcolm X's legacy show up in your work?
um Community.
Okay.
For the
Okay.
people.
Hmm. What does by any means necessary means to you in 2025?
uh with urgency. I think that it's like, by any means necessary, get it done. If God is giving you a gift, or if you have a dream, if you have goals, by any means necessary, get it done. I think that um, that means that whatever it takes, um, relying on faith, moving forward, not stopping, not giving up,
Mhm.
having perseverance,
Mhm.
um, and once again, being intentional, being transparent, being open, and being willing to listen.
Mhm. How has Martin Luther King Jr.'s vision shaped your approach to justice and unity?
Once again, that's a community. Um, I think what he stood for was liberation to all. When I think about some of the things that I'm doing, I want to be able to liberate people and
Mhm.
let them see that there is purpose in their lives, that there's a gift in them, that they matter, that they count, um, and that we have to come together to make it happen. And we can't do it by ourselves,
Mhm.
but lean and depend, and us as a people come together.
Mhm.
Um, if we continue to do the things that we're doing with blackouts and rallies together, I think that we can continue to make impact, and live out the dream that he saw.
What does nonviolence look like in your entrepreneurial and community leadership?
Mm. Nonviolence, in my leadership. Um, I try to keep peace. Um,
Mhm.
it's just a thing of keeping peace, um, knowing when to speak and when not to speak.
Okay.
Knowing when to. There's sometimes that we just cannot be silent, you know,
Mhm.
and with that is, um, not being not being silent, but being impactful. you know,
Mhm.
Making sure that what you do counts, and it
Mhm.
matters, and that
Mhm.
it can reach the masses and the multitudes, and that it's something that people can get around and rally with. If you're a good leader, I think that if you're a good leader, and you have uh, good ideas, a good leader has good people around them as well. And I always say that if you got a good team
Mhm.
and you utilizing the people and the gifts that they have, you could do so much. If a leader has good vision and has a good team of people that will follow and that can rally around, and once again, I always say that word, alignment. I think alignment is key.
Mm. Okay, how has Oprah Winfrey inspired your storytelling and media presence?
I think that she's learned. Well, I think that she has a quality, a quality of perfection um, that I try to model. Um, uh, uh, I remember watching Oprah Winfrey on the shows and watching her grow until to the point to where she sold, and she went off air, but then she started doing other things. To me, I looked at that as um, once again passing the torch on to somebody else. Those people who pave roads for us. When I think of, MLK and Malcolm X and all the great people that have created ways and opened up doors for us to be able to do the things that we do. Rosa Parks, all the things that people have done throughout time. And even with Oprah, I just think that she's opened up doors and made ways that have opened up doors for a lot of other people.
What do you admire most about Tyler Perry's journey?
Persistence, not giving up, his story, and telling his story, sharing his story. I believe that that's what made that has drawn people to him, is being truthful about the stories and telling the stories of our community, telling the stories of our people, and so that's been something that has impacted me in his work.
So how do these five figures, your grandmother, Malcolm X, MLK, Oprah, and Tyler, intersect in your life's mission?
Never to give up, never to stop. I think that we all have mission. We all have something to do. Everybody is different. Everybody has a different role to play, and I just think that with that, it just lets me know that they've had their role to play, and that we all do. And if I continue doing mine, then maybe I can make an impact as well as that has been as great as theirs.
I'm gonna say this before I ask you this last question. That's a lot of power amongst these five people. That's a lot of influential, strong Black power that signifies a real Black legacy. That's what Black excellence is all about. Your mission being about a strong Black legacy and Black excellence. It's kind of like when you set your goals or you set out to do what you were doing. Well, I'm sorry, this is another question before this last question. Did you honestly think about, that focus and that vision as big and as broad as it is, and all the things that you're doing and accomplishing? Did you even think about that?
I just, I've always seen people be able to do great things. And I tell this little story. Even when I came to New Jersey, New York area, as a little boy, I always spoke things of what I wanted, what I desired. Even playing with my friends. Just hey, I just flew in from XYZ, and when those things begin to manifest, I begin to start seeing, that power play out. That anything is reachable, any goal is reachable, any vision is reachable, and the sky is the limit. Yes. So if the sky is the limit, why do I dare dumb down or diminish what I can become?
Ooh, okay. See, there you go right there. Everybody here be Marcus Flanders. That's what I'm talking about right there. I'm serious. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about right there. You just tied it all up in one loop, because that is exactly what we have here, and that's what you are, is Black excellence.
That's it. That's it.
That's it. Bottom line. This last question.
All right.
If you could sit down with all 5 of these people that you just mentioned, what would you ask or say to them?
I think, you know what? This is probably a crazy. I would probably ask them, why didn't they give up?
Okay. Well, I like the opposite perspective, but why that question?
Because I would love to hear how that matches up to why I didn't give up. You know, I think that's just like it's a raw, open dialogue, you know, to say, what were some of the pitfalls? What were some of the things that crushed you? And how did you regain the resilience? And how did you regain the power to keep moving on? You know, and I think that will open up and lead to other things that could be very fruitful.
Well, you know, I'm going to answer that for you. It's because when you come from royalty and you're natural royalty and originator of this world, when you are a king and a queen, you don't know anything else but to keep going.
That's it.
That's the whole thing.
That's it.
And so that's something that nobody will ever be able to take away from you, because as you grow and you accomplish, it's all about you being that royalty that you are.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So, so in closing, what are some words of wisdom and encouragement you'd like to leave for our audience?
I would say, once again, like, don't give up, trust God, lean in on that faith, where things may seem like it might break you. And that's why I say that question of why, because I've had some moments that could break me. And I thank God for relationships. I thank God for even broken relationships and being able to restore them. I think it's just a thing of don't give up and don't throw in the towel, because God has a plan for you. It's greater than what you could ever imagine. But if you just have the faith and just stick with it, it's a hard thing. But if you have the faith the size of a mustard seed, you can move all mountains. You could do whatever your heart desire. It's just being around the right people, keeping positive energy in your life, and don't let nobody shake you. Don't let anybody ever tell you that you're not good enough or that you will fail. Even if you do fail, you know, failure doesn't mean that all is over. You know, that keep pushing, because whatever it is, there's greater in you. You just got to tap into it and keep positive energy around you, because low vibrations, and even though these are an asset, these can be distracting. Keep distractions out of your life. Whatever can easily beset you, get rid of it, because it will lead you down the wrong way.
Well, I want to thank you for blessing us with your presence today, because again, this has truly been another great show, one that truly signifies what it is to demonstrate Black excellence as well as a Black legacy, because that's what this platform is. And you know, when we have guests like you, which has been each and every guest that's come to this show, is that, you know, we've got people that are truly exemplary in all the things that they do. And so it's like, in being exemplary, but thinking about how, you know, these other folks out here have cast this dispersion success only looks like when you have millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And see, that in itself, that's the distraction.
Yes.
Because when people
Yes.
start thinking in terms of, oh, everything has got to have a dollar value on it,
It doesn't have to.
that's
Yeah.
when everything goes awry.
Right.
And when that happens, that means that you have become a part of, I'll just say, some other thing, some other
Yes.
fear
Right. That's
that's
it.
actually causing the real serious dispersion
Right.
for what's really happening here.
Right. Right.
So when people can learn to focus here
Mm-hmm.
and not here, you'll be good to go. Because
Right.
as you mentioned earlier, it's not about you going to spend your money in the wrong place. Learn to manage your money and learn to make sure that when you spend it in the right place.
Right.
When it's all about how you want to live.
Right.
Make sure you're living within those means, but also you need to start working on generational wealth.
Yes. Yes. That's important. It's
When
important.
it comes to financial literacy, let's learn what money is, and let's learn the value of a dollar and how it impacts not just communities but your life itself in general.
Exactly.
And so these are some of the things that people really need to start focusing on. And this is what we actually try to talk about. Well, not try to, what we talk about more and more and more on this show, because we want our people to know we're about building these communities, and we're doing it from a real perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Not from that play world where, oh, everything is imaginary and I can reach out the sky and pull this out the sky.
Mm-hmm.
Folk that's pulling stuff out the sky, don't believe that.
Right.
Don't believe that, because again, that's another one of the distractions that get
you. It'll get you. And in fact, I would encourage people to tune in to the series that's going to be coming out. I've been posting some stuff about unlabeled. You know, who told you that? You know, what is your status? Is what you're wearing, is that net worth greater than your net worth?
Mm-hmm.
Your net worth. I mean, what are you spending money on? Because where does your identity come from? Is your identity built upon the label that you're wearing,
Mm-hmm.
or the status that you're trying to gain?
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes the status doesn't have the value for your life that you think that it should be. So we gotta, like you were saying, we gotta be mindful of those things. Where does our identity lie? Remember, identity, authority, and access.
Well, B. Marcus, let me just tell you this. I wasn't paying attention because I was so engulfed in our dialogue, but we got a bunch of things here in the chat. Here is that was from Antoine right there. He was saying that's a good question. And then here's another one from Antoine where he says, preach. And here is one from Talks with Dr. D. There's a hand clap. And another one here. Talks with Dr. D and D.
Those are my friends, yeah.
Okay, and then this one is from Balaji Ahmed. He says, this is really awesome to listen. Listen here with y'all. Stay positive always.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Those encouraging words.
Yes, sir. And so for those of you that are listening on the YouTube channel, because we stream from live from 8 different platforms, but those of you that are listening on the YouTube channels, if you have not yet subscribed, please subscribe and get all the notifications so that you are able to watch all the shows live as they happen, as well as you're able to go back and watch each and every episode that has been recorded. And in each of those episodes, you will get to learn each and every last one of those points that B. Marcus actually pointed out in the beginning of the show, which is the reason why we say we are building our communities, and we have these actual superstars that are doing it that people don't know yet, but you will know today. And so this is why we want to make sure that, you know, we're reaching the people that we need to be reaching, because it is always important that, especially in these times today, that we learn what it means to be about community, because community has got everything in it. So for those of you also that have not yet joined our community, we have a community that we've started where you can actually go and watch the show there, as well as on the other side of that, you'll be able to make posts, you'll be able to network, you'll be able to read the post that's there, including blog posts, and you'll also at some point in time, as we're still putting things together, we're going to be expanding the networking opportunities, as well as we're going to be creating a point system for, as you like each and every post that's there, or you're doing a post yourself, you will get credit for some points. Thank you all again for joining us here on America in Black and White. We will see you guys tomorrow night for another great episode as we continue to color conversations on America's canvas. Thank you all for watching. Thank you, Mr. Flanders, for being with us, and hopefully
Thank you for having me.
We definitely need to get you back.
Oh, awesome. I would definitely love to come back.
Yes, sir. And we will see you all next time. So you all have a great evening and good